We're starting. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to the inaugural episode, big words, of Horsing Around with Luke and Austin.
Austin.
Here's my co-host,
Austin.
and I am your other co-host. I don't want one of us to outrank the other one. Luke. Nope.
Are you dumb? We literally just said that. Did we
We just
not?
went over not saying our names. Last
By
names.
the way, while I'm already giving you this information, here's my social security, my bank account information, my credit card numbers.
Address, come on by. I mean, come on now.
If you like what you see.
I'll just add a bleep over me fully doxing my last name.
Can you believe this has only been 1 minute?
I can believe that.
Didn't that feel like a lot longer, to be honest? I thought that was like 2 or 3.
No, we're fine. To be fair, I think we were talking before I started the timer.
That's very true. That's very true.
Which did add some to it.
Yeah.
However, this is the inaugural episode. Hopefully many more to come. Can't predict the future. I think there'll be many more to come. I think we'll be good. But here we are in our master's basement. We can't get out until we record a full episode, unfortunately.
We can't get out until we get at least 2 subscribers.
That is true. The next episode, I'll be wearing this exact same outfit. I have to remember to wear that for continuity's sake. But I'll be wearing this exact same outfit. He'll be wearing that one. And we'll get 2 subscribers.
And if we don't, we'll literally die. So
That is true.
I'm pretty sure that's called rhetoric. Pathos.
Pathos.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I haven't heard the word pathos since my freshman year of college. But I remember in English sophomore year having to do the ethos, pathos, logos thing. Still don't remember what any of that means.
Oh, I remember.
Well, I know that... No, wait, let me cook here. Ethos is your ethics. Your ethical code. Pathos... We'll come back to that one.
That's the easiest one to me.
Logos? Is that how it's pronounced?
Mm-hmm.
That is like your... Is that something to do with logistics?
It's the appeal to logic, yeah.
What is pathos? Why am I forgetting this?
Think empathy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said weird pathos, because they should feel bad if we die, theoretically, allegedly speaking.
Yeah.
If we were to both die really gruesome deaths, I would hope you guys would feel somewhat remorseful for that, even though we just met. But hey, who am I to speak on what human decency is? I don't know.
If we die, we'll need every person who watches this to come to the funeral, or you're not going to heaven. And I just made that rule
We're
right
getting kind
now.
of sacrilegious about it. I'm not going to stand by that. But I appreciate what you're doing.
And our funeral is going to be
A banger, to say the least.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think that we'll have at least 10
Ponies.
Just keep adding to this. We'll have at least 10
Bouncy castles.
circus freaks. Also,
I thought you were going to say surrogates.
surrogates, like surrogate parents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if once we die we can have
Okay. never
10
mind.
kids, unfortunately.
Scrap that one from the list. My fault.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill your dreams there. 10 albino circus workers.
Alligators. Okay.
Okay. I was gonna say circus. What would they qualify as? Circus freaks? No, that doesn't work too well. That just reminded me.
I know quite a few of those.
That just reminded me in 8th grade we watched. It was near the end of the school year when I was at I'm not gonna say what school I went to. When I was at a certain charter school, I remember watching The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman. I didn't really watch it, but I listened to it a little bit.
He was busy getting dome.
Yeah, in 8th grade, I was slanging. In 8th grade, I would pull up in the parking lot with my El Camino, hose in the back, and people would flock to me. Dude, I was so fat
This
in
was
8th
you
grade.
for
I was
real.
not cool at all in 8th grade. I don't think... Can anybody say they were cool in 8th grade? Okay, never mind.
I sure can.
Never mind, you can say you were cool in 8th grade.
I'm just kidding.
What were you doing in 8th grade?
If I met myself in 8th grade right now, I would probably strangle him, to be honest.
You know what's crazy?
In 8th grade, I was getting groomed, actually. That's where I was. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that.
I
Yeah.
forgot all about that.
We'll get to that in like episode 3.
That's going to take the deeper. That's when we get our live therapist in the room to unbox everything. I remember, and you know what's crazy? You say that you would strangle 8th grade you. I specifically remember when I was talking to Kylie, when I was in like the early talking stages of, and for the audience at home, that's my girlfriend. I remember telling her in like the talking stages, she would bring up like something I did in 8th grade, super embarrassing. And I would be like, oh my gosh, it's one of those things that keeps you up at night. Like you didn't remember it, but when somebody tells you that you did it, you just want to you want to die. I remember so specifically her like telling me something I did in 8th grade, and I was like, if I went back in time, I would kill 8th grade me. I would save so much of my future self, so much grief and lack of sleep from the things he did. I was in an 8th grade dance. I can't believe I'm saying this. And I danced.
Before you tell us this story, show them your best dance moves that you had at the 8th grade time. Pretty please.
I don't know what I did because the song, I'll get to this part. The song I danced to, and it's not a danceable song, was Africa by Toto.
A banger.
But there's
Best band of all time, if you ask me.
But there's no dance move that you can do to the song Africa that makes sense.
I thought you could belly dance. Can't you do that?
I can belly dance.
Can you show them?
Okay.
You guys are in for a treat. Let me
Okay.
tell you. Oh my gosh. Put that thing down. Oh. Oh, that's amazing. That's beautiful.
That is an episode
That
1
is
exclusive right there.
Yep.
Only the real one. Only
In 5 years, that's going to be, what do they call them?
that'll be turned into a GIF.
Those meme currencies.
If I ever do something important later in my life, other than this,
That'll
it's
be worth
probably
millions.
this is the number 1 most important thing I'll do. Now, below number 1, if I ever do something, if I'm ever at a job interview and they pull up a clip of me belly dancing, first of all, why do they care? They're probably impressed, to be honest.
And jealous.
And jealous.
And aroused.
And aroused. I know he was just now. But
Why do you think I'm holding this dinosaur over
putting
my
the dinosaur
pants?
over his crotch. But if I ever run for public office and that is splayed all over social media, who cares? That's so sick. Anyway, 8th grade me wasn't belly dancing, and he had a lot more belly to dance with, which is the crazy part.
He was fat.
As some would say.
Rotund.
As others would say.
Bulbous.
The more educated of us would say that.
Plump.
Plump. That'll work.
Husky.
Husky's making it too nice.
Okay, I apologize.
You know how they didn't have the the big section in the store. They'd have the husky section. Make it sound a little cooler. Not cool. Make it sound a little bit better.
The beginning of body positivity.
It starts in the husky section of a Belk's.
It does.
But no, I remember dancing to Africa by Toto in this. I wasn't the only one dancing to it. Let's start there. I was not the only one dancing to it, even if it looked horrific to watch, even if it was so lame and so cringy. Oh my gosh, I'm doing it again. I'm like imagining myself dancing to it, and I'm getting so pissed off right now. But I danced to it. And I forgot about it pretty much. Once I left that dance, never thought about it again until Kylie decided to assault my brain with that memory, which is probably
Robbed
the best
my
way.
brain at gunpoint and said, "Remember that one time?"
Oh my gosh, I would kill him. And that's probably not even a top 10, top 15 most embarrassing thing I did.
Okay, that's
I
a
still
good
embarrass
topic.
myself. I think we all do.
Embarrassing things.
Oh my gosh.
I have one
Go ahead.
that happened to me between the in-laws.
Okay.
So, for those who don't know, I have a girlfriend, and her uncle is like capital B billionaire rich, right? Never seen this much money in my life. His house is amazing. He lives in Florida. And I came over to his place for Thanksgiving, and he asked me to help him cook the turkey.
Uh-oh.
I was shitting bricks. I kid you not. That was terrifying.
You ever cooked a turkey before?
No. No. You see, my family
Do
Thanksgiving...
you cook often?
Pizza rolls? Does that count?
That's like a small turkey. If you stuff it, it's like the stuffing
It's a
is
pocketed turkey.
It's like it's basically a turkey, but
Yeah.
tiny and filled with pizza.
Okay, so I was overqualified. In
Okay, that's what we're getting to. Is
Yeah,
the
okay.
uncle should have been scared of you.
Yeah, but anyways, he was like, "Come help me with the stove," and so I'm outside, handing him stuff for his grill or whatever, and he was making me dig throughout all these cabinets for stuff. And then he was like, "Yo, can you put? I don't remember what part of the turkey it was. It was probably like a leg or something. Because I remember it, it came in this pan, and he was like, throw that thing on the grill. And I was like, oh, okay. So I picked it up out of the pan, and was like holding this thing that looked like a leg, and wobbling around a little bit. And then when he turned around, he was like, oh no, you can like leave it in the pan. And I just looked like an idiot holding a dead
Just
animal
whipping
in
around
my
the-
hand. Yeah. And then I was like, I think Savvy's calling me. And then I left.
You didn't even help cook the turkey.
No, I really didn't. He didn't really need my help cooking the turkey. He just wanted me to help him like get stuff.
That's
onto
moral
it.
support. He wanted you to tell him how good he was at cooking the turkey.
But I got him back that week because I whooped him in ping pong, and he's actually like not that bad.
He probably still thinks about that.
He
So
probably
that's his
does.
most embarrassing moment. If he came on here, he'd be like, "Oh gosh,
That
I
one
remember when
guy.
Austin kicked my ass at ping pong."
Yeah, and I did.
I remember. I'm just filtering through all the most embarrassing memories. This is like terrifying for me. I'll talk about fat me.
I love Fat You, honestly.
It was a transformative period of my life where in elementary school, as a kid, from kindergarten to 5th grade, I would say pretty small. Actually, family members would be like, oh, thank you. Family members would always say like, are you ever going to feed that kid? Whatever. I was a small kid. And then sometime in 5th grade, be it baby weight, what you doing over there?
Sorry, my fault. I had to burp.
Be it baby weight, who knows what it was. I just, almost overnight, and to a kid, they don't understand that. I just got round. My head was round. My body was round.
I know. And for those of you looking at him right this very second, I know he looks very handsome and scrumptious, but I will let you know that all that baby fat is still there. It just went right to his rear end is the only place it went.
And you have to pay to see that, unfortunately, for you guys. That'll
Join the
come on the
Patreon.
exclusive episodes where we have an oiled up twerk session.
Horsing around OnlyFans.
Horsing around Patreon exclusive. But sometime in it just looked rough. From like 6th to 8th grade, all of middle school, arguably some of your most impressionable years, I wasn't getting groomed because I don't think
You were not
I didn't have any suitors
desirable.
for sure.
You were ugly and fat, and no one wanted you. I think, frankly, you were kind of a failure.
I think that was my I did mention earlier having El Camino with all the hoes. Exact opposite. Imagine all the swag of somebody who drives an El
Not the
Camino.
swag.
Imagine all of the dare I say
Swaggy.
aura of somebody who drives an El Camino with escorts in the back. I wasn't close to that. I was actually the furthest from that you can probably get. I hadn't had my braces yet, so I had the most messed up teeth you've ever seen. They were hard to brush, so they were a little bit yellow. I mean, look at my teeth now. Yeah, you're jealous. And could you imagine that? You're already fat. You
Our
wear
one friend
glasses.
has really yellow teeth. The one that in the movie, quotation marks. That's not relevant to anything, but sorry.
As I've gotten older, I've been like, you know what? The people with white teeth are honestly fewer and far between than you'd expect. Actually, in Europe, they're not a huge fan of white teeth because they consider it unnatural.
I would say they're genetically modified. I think if you're pretty, you're just genetically modified. You're not natural.
If you're on like a magazine cover, I already think that you've got some work done to you somewhere because no one looks, especially if you're like above
If you're
50,
naturally pretty, please speak up. But
we'll know you're. He's gotten a full face transplant
I
of
sure
a
have.
Calvin Klein model.
Yeah.
It was no scars or anything. What were we even talking about? The
You being fat as a child. That was a long time ago. We started rambling about how ugly you were.
yeah, how I don't have an El Camino and don't have bad bitches lining up to get inside of it. But I was fat. I didn't do it. To be fair, there are many overweight child. Not many of them were doing themselves such little favors compared to me. I feel like a unique child in that sense. I wore matching Under Armour outfits. Like,
I actually did too. I'm not. Yeah. No,
I think
I was all right. I was right there with you.
many teenage boys will wear
Well, that was the Steph Curry era.
the highlighter set.
Yeah.
It had that big Under Armour logo here.
Yeah.
It had it on the corner of the shorts.
And like the knee high neon Nike Elite socks.
I think I have a photo on my phone. I can probably edit it and post of me standing.
It's right here.
It's right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, you can be so mean to editors. Just like, right here. Come on now. Which works a little bit more if it wasn't the fact that I'm editing it. So, hey, me in the future.
It's right here.
Me in the future, dumbass. Put the photo up. Good gosh. And if you didn't figure out how to do it, be curious and at least put a message that said, I'm too stupid to figure it out.
Pause for the message. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Or the picture if we find out how to put it up there. If I find out how to put it up there.
I really love how I'm not doing any of the work on that end. It's only him.
I brought the mics, camera,
I just brought the pretty face.
recorder. He's my
I can't.
It's like in The Office when Dwight talks about the oh my gosh, the road beats or whatever. The show beats. You put them to the front. You put your prettiest beats to the front to get them to pull in and buy them.
It's true. I remember that.
So I've brought him. Honestly, if I can figure out how to focus on one face, honestly, I might just be a blurry mess in the next one, and you'll just be the
Stop it.
You'll probably just be the only one on
so
camera.
Sweet. Oh my gosh.
I'll just be off camera. You'll just see the cord.
God. Okay, just for that comment, I am taking all the profits we make from this episode and giving them to you.
Aw, that's so nice.
0 times 0 is still 0.
I was gonna say the secret is there's no profits for this episode unless we strike
our 2 subscribers.
We get that quota, then we might get let out of here, and maybe we can make money, one day. But
in this economy,
yeah, 2 subscribers. So what?
We'll tackle the economy in like episode 5.
Episode 5, we'll fix inflation.
We'll solve it.
Episode 6,
yeah,
we will lobby a politician to run on our behalf.
Yeah. Mr. Trump, step aside. Luke and Austin are gonna horse around.
It'll be like Rome before. Oh my God, I almost fumbled my Rome logic, but I'm too smart for that. Come on now.
Of course.
Julius Caesar, before he took over, when they had 2 heads
my boy
in
Julius,
Rome.
JC.
When they had 2 heads
my second
in Rome,
favorite, JC.
John Carpenter.
Are you dumb? No, our Lord and
Different
Savior.
Carpenter.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, sorry. John Carpenter, great director. Unrelated. Anyway, I was a fat middle schooler.
Right. Yes. Okay. Obesity in America.
Obesity. Michelle Obama would have saw me and threw up.
No. Yeah. She probably would have quit. She would have resigned. Or put you on a treadmill. I don't know.
Or just maybe do the
Here's
60.
an actual topic. Michelle Obama, if you're watching this,
Uh-oh.
I apologize.
What's about to happen?
Do you think she's actually a man?
No, I don't think.
Have you heard that?
I have heard
They say she's actually Michael Obama.
Michael Obama. It's gotten to the point where it's hard to find who are the ones who are joking and who are the ones who are serious.
All right, you see, this is why I bring that up, because Michelle Obama, I love you, girl. I've never met you before in my life.
You seem chill. You seem cool to hang out with.
You seem really cool. I mean, you totally obliterated school lunches, and for that, I'm not really chill with you on that end. Yeah. But you still seem pretty cool and all right, I guess.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring this up, because I didn't even know this was a thing until I saw this, but I got this from a very reliable source. I think it's called TikTok or something, and
you're about to say
it was this famous woman that I've never seen before in my life. Still don't know who she is, but she was being chased by like paparazzi, and it was around the time of an election.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
And the guy holding the camera was like, such and such, oh, whoever you are, because I forgot her name. She was like, when will the first gay president come into office?
It's already been.
And she was like, there already is one. And it was talking about Obama. And she said that. And I was like, what?
I know what you're talking about.
So then I did a deep dive. And then I was like, well, she is really tall. And that's the only evidence I have.
That's where my dive stopped. Well, she's tall, and women can't get above 5'4".
Yeah.
Or at least once
if I
Austin
ever see
talks
her dunk
to.
a basketball, then it's raps for her and her reputation. I'd say it's concrete evidence she's a man.
Michelle Obama, when you hear this,
let me see your finest windmill.
let's see if you can dunk.
You're right. Yeah.
And I don't want
honestly.
you to half-ass it. I want
It's
you
an
to whole
invitation.
ass it, and I want you to actually
And
try.
Barack, if you're seeing this,
Please come on our podcast.
please come on our podcast. I think
Please.
you're a really chill dude, and I will 1v1 you and probably lose.
Oh my god.
But that'd be really sick, especially on camera.
Dude, just having a one-on-one with Barack Obama would. Oh my god.
Gotta have them ribs.
Say it.
And pussy too.
Still don't know the context of that clip.
Let me be clear. You do a really good one of that.
Let me be clear.
Let me be queer.
Let me. if it's Michael.
Get it? Sorry, Michael. Michelle. She's not gonna hear it probably. But
I've got a feeling she's not
she
gonna
will
hear
in
it.
like 20 years if she makes it.
If she makes it.
That sounded like a threat.
I was gonna say, that sounded threatening.
Sorry. No.
When you make it.
I would never.
You make it. I mean, I feel like we're at the point where presidents are just gonna live longer and longer and longer, and then.
What are your thoughts on abolishing the presidential system and just making a king, make him do it for life, like the Pope?
Well, I guess the Pope doesn't technically do it for life.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? I thought once you're like elected as Pope, you do it forever
Actually,
until you die.
Within the past week and a half, there has been a lot of Pope and Catholic talk that I
Pope talk.
previously was not privy to. I did not have a clue about the Pope or about Catholicism or anything.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it was very ritualistic in a way. I mean, like I kind of did.
They still speak Latin. Who speaks Latin?
They speak Latin, really?
All those phrases they do are Latin, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
where they're like, they close the
interesting.
doors and they say that Latin phrase that means like, we are going to select a Pope or whatever.
Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about when like ritualistic kind of stuff. They kind of close these doors that no one can see, and they wear these big giant
stand there.
robes and these really tall hats, and they have like white smoke, black smoke that means different things, and who knows what they're doing? Probably sacrificing children and or goats in there.
That's how they figure
I
out
was
the.
like,
That's how they figure out the Pope.
Catholics, I have no clue about
Sorry,
everything.
Catholics.
If you'd love to,
If we want a Catholic on the podcast,
yeah,
we'll get one.
If you'd love to educate us, please do.
But I remember, so much has happened in the past week and a half as far as Catholics go. It's been a big PR stunt. I feel like that's the whole reason Pope Francis died, just so everyone can figure it out.
Interesting.
But
No, I feel like Pope got a TikTok and then like saw some video and died right then and there. He probably saw like some furry stuff.
he saw his first ever furry couple and was like,
yeah.
"What the hell?"
Yeah.
And then he just keeled over. No, the fact that he locked in for like all of Easter and then second Easter died, he just
Gone.
keeled over. Say he had like a stroke and a heart attack or something like that.
At the same time?
Just instant. I think all of his.
Wow.
I think they didn't know what it was because all of his blood vessels at the same time just exploded, and they were just like, stroke, heart attack.
All of them?
All of
No.
them. Sorry, I'm trying not to like. Full.
That's my phone. Don't worry about it.
How dare you?
My fault.
But I just
Poor Pope Francis, for real.
to be fair, we could only be so lucky as to live to 88 years old.
Yeah.
If you want to live that long. However, I was just gonna say, the Pope stuff. You mentioned doing it for life. Before him, Pope
Right.
Benedict, I think it was, right before him.
Benedict.
He passed away in 2020. Benedict was the first pope to resign in like 600 years.
Oh, he resigned.
Yes, the one right before Pope Francis, and that's the only one that's resigned since like the 1400s. It's not a position you usually resign from.
Thank you for saying that, because I asked someone a question the other day. I was like, once you're the Pope, can you just like decide not to? Like, can you quit? And then they're like,
can.
no, of course not, because you've already sacrificed your soul. You can't do that. You already wrote your name on a contract in blood. So
Which is what they do.
those are pretty
Put
strict,
their name in
from
stone.
my understanding.
Evidently, the reason he failed.
He failed at life.
The reason he sucked as Pope. No, the reason he stepped down was because, according to him, it was some sort of weakening of the mind and body, as he put it. So graciously,
He just wanted to get laid.
He did. He was tired.
That's what it was.
He was tired of
That's
seeing
what it
all
was.
those. Sorry, that joke was going to be dark. I'm going to say it anyway. He was tired of seeing all those altar boys, and
The femboys.
not being able to go at them. Sorry,
what I'm
Catholic
saying.
Church. Again, sorry, Catholics. We're
Though to be fair,
If the shoe fits, wear it. No offense.
Oh, Pope Francis, you are my Cinderella.
No, Pope
Attaboy.
Francis. But then, before Pope Francis, there was Benedict. Usually you get the position and you just do it until you die. I mean, that's pretty
what
much,
she said.
That sounds
That
like...
was a good one. You rambled on with that one. I liked that.
I know.
That was good.
I know, but...
That was good.
Yeah, you do it till you die, and then that leads us into this new pope. But the rules around it is what I found out this week. Evidently, they don't mess around. Because
It's
from
the Pope.
like 1288 to 1291, there was a papal election that went for 3 years
3 years?
because of factions within the church. Because the Pope used to be really strong and he used to rule over so much of like the Italian, the peninsula, that it was a big deal. They commanded armies. They were strong. They weren't just figureheads of the Catholic Church. Because all there was the Catholic Church, really.
Right.
So if like the Pope said, like, you couldn't even kill a king back in the day and take over land until the Pope gave you his word. Like, he'd be like, yep, God told me you can cut his head off.
This actually brings up another question that I asked when I was like, can the Pope quit? I was like, what does a Pope even do? What's the purpose of a Pope other than just being a God guy?
God guy. I actually found out the reason they even have a Pope is because, much like the Old Testament, they wanted religious leaders of the church, much like Jacob.
Right.
So, Saint Peter.
Do you want the map over there?
No, that's fine. Saint Peter.
There's a biblically accurate map over there for some reason. I don't know why it's on here.
Arabia, the Upper Sea, Mediterranean.
Our master who keeps us here must really be fascinated with ancient geography.
Specifically biblical Middle East to Mediterranean geography. But what was I saying? Saint Peter, one of the 12 disciples,
Cool dude.
he was the first pope, according to...
You know, I think I did know that actually.
It blew my mind when I saw it, and everybody I told was like, wait, really?
What?
The first pope, technically, was Saint Peter, and since then it's been their sort of tradition
Disciple.
to continue to elect heads of the church.
So you're saying the first pope
Was one of the 12 disciples.
met Jesus?
Yeah, he's one of the 12
Allegedly?
disciples.
Wow. I did not. That's really fascinating. Actually.
So since then, they've just had, elections, the rituals that have been born throughout these.
Right.
But they've had to tweak the rules a little bit over time because you have to get 2/3 of the vote on whichever ballot elects you, and then they burn it. So you won't know who voted for what.
So does that mean Peter was Catholic?
That's the real muddying part that I feel like I'm about to spread misinformation on. Was
This is why we need a Catholic on the podcast.
It's
please.
not that he specifically was Catholic. It was that's kind of all there was. And then...
And then factions grew.
As time's gone
Catholicism
on...
became Catholicism. and then
Catholicism got sort of...
And we're back.
We'll have to splice together those two. Editor.
Speaking
hey,
of splice,
real quick, I was just going to say, editor, you bitch. Okay? Whoever the editor is, you pussy. Me in the future. Make sure to splice that together and make it seamless, okay? Maybe add some transition music. Maybe pay somebody to get some transition music. Maybe just get some royalty-free music, and then we'll just splice that in.
royalty free, even when we're here. I don't think so. We are royalty.
We're royalty.
Anyways, you said the word splice, and that was a trigger word for me. So we're going to talk about this movie that I saw. That was really not good. It made me want to kill myself.
Hold on one second.
What is that? Oh my gosh, Luke, you broke it.
I'm not gonna rip it down.
Anyways,
I'm trying to get away.
while he's mucking it up, there's this movie called Splice, which is about these two scientists who are actually together, and they are geneticists. They want to work in genetics, and they do so by creating new species, allegedly. Pretty much, that's what they do in essence. And then they start to dabble with implementing human DNA with other things and creating this one organism that's basically a monster, and it does a lot of terrible things to people. So if you really like dark and twisted stuff, I recommend that. There's a terrible, terrible trigger warning. There's a rape scene that is egregious to watch.
Distressing, to say the least.
Yeah. I still need you to watch that. He's supposed to watch that with me, but he's been a literal baby
on the hook
this
for
whole
this
time.
movie since like last summer.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told I need to watch it. You know what movie I actually watched recently? I don't watch many movies, unfortunately, which I'm not saying I'm not open to watching many more movies, but I just know that I know myself, and for some reason,
What's the movie?
Donnie Darko. I watched it this week. So weird. I'm not even going to describe it because you need to watch that.
Chat, should I watch it? If we get 2 subscribers, I'll watch it.
I'll comment on this.
If we get 0 subscribers because the movie is dog water, it'll be your fault.
It's my fault the movie's dog
Because
shit.
you recommended
Blame
a
Jake
terrible
Gyllenhaal
movie.
for his acting. I don't know. He was 19 when that movie came out. Fun fact about Jake Gyllenhaal, I found out recently. He's legally blind.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He wears like...
I'm pretty sure
intense-
Johnny Depp is blind in one eye.
I know that Gyllenhaal wears like... I'm saying it like we're friends with him. Jake wears...
You know Jake.
You know Jake.
Our
He
boy
wears
Jake.
like hyper-corrective lenses and... See, that's the thing with legal blindness. It's like cosplaying is really blind. I'm not going to say that because those people are probably...
You're not really disabled,
Yeah,
okay?
whatever.
Stop cashing in those checks.
It's like
you're,
people
you're
with-
taking the good spots for no reason.
It's like people who are
'cause you
like,
have to squint your eyes
oh,
when
my
you drive.
binder. It's like people who are like,
Please, come on.
people
My
like,
sciatica type stuff.
yeah,
Oh my
that's an inside
gosh.
joke, which you probably shouldn't be doing when
Outrageous.
you're trying to reach an audience. But you know what? I don't care. Or people who like are neat, so they claim their OCD.
I'm sorry, wait a minute. I thought this was our podcast.
It is our
Do we
podcast.
care? Do we care?
You're right. You know what?
Come on now.
Suck on that one, audience.
No, but we do need 2 subscribers to live.
Yeah.
So I do apologize.
This has gone from us leaving this to there's not any food in here other than the third victim that unfortunately didn't want to start this podcast with us because he died a little too early.
She will not be named.
She unfortunately is over in the corner, curled up in a ball, going nonverbal.
She'll
So
appreciate the shout out though in the afterlife for sure.
she'll see this. I would like to imagine
That's
heaven is
funny.
just this splayed
Heaven
all
is
over the
actually-
place.
Heaven is actually just Puerto Rico.
Heaven's Puerto Rico, and also you're listening to podcast for hours.
But our podcast.
Could you imagine-
Is that heaven
just
or is it
us.
hell? Let's think about that.
We'll
really
let the
quick.
audience decide for us.
We will. We
What
will.
about you're in heaven and all you can hear is Joe Rogan talk about
gorillas? No, he talks about bears a lot.
bears, chimps. I don't know if you've ever seen that classic clip of him. This is not an endorsement of Joe Rogan's podcast because all those viewers need to be watching this podcast. He gets scientists and famous people on. We have the 2 most famous people in the world.
On a
Us.
horse.
On a horse.
And we're on a horse.
Oh, I get to debut the logo finally.
Edit me on a horse really quick, camera guy.
I
Thank
hope
you.
you know there's no possible way that we're going to be able to
He's
add.
gonna make it work. I have faith in him.
This will be
okay?
released in about 4 years when I go to school and learn how to.
And learn how to use Adobe Photoshop.
What if I change my full major and learn and just switch to
Do you want to hold Pierre now? I'm sorry. I've been hogging
Sure,
him.
yeah.
There you go.
something to.
Careful with him. He's kind of a biter.
His head's so flimsy.
Yeah. Relatable.
Oh my gosh. What else has happened in the past week and a half that's distressing? Probably a lot.
We're not going to talk about the Pope again, but something I do want to bring up is that there was a Pope in Cars 2, which means that there was a car Jesus who is crucified on a car cross.
Car-shaped cross.
And that's all I want to bring up. We can move on, though.
There's a lot in that movie that, because it's supposed to be like human accurate, which is also concerning.
Also true.
Because that implies there's car
Cars
Hitler.
9/11.
Car 9/11.
Car
Well, there's the Planes
Martin Luther
universe,
King Jr.
which is Planes universe, which coincides with Cars.
Yes, true. Or Cars Hiroshima. That's a
Cars
good one.
working in tandems with Car Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Robert-
Cars Avengers Endgame.
Cars
Chicken Jockey. That's
Cars Civil War.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Cars. I like how we're just doing the most American things ever. And I like Cars.
Well, we are American, so
Yeah. And if you're not American, go ahead and top right of the screen.
yeah.
X and then send it to an American. We don't want your views. Delete your account so it deletes your view. That's not how that
No,
works.
literally,
We'll take what we can get.
literally, I do hate British people, but I can be convinced. Okay, I once met a British person right when the Queen died, and I made her cry from joking about the Queen a little too much.
How did you meet a British person?
She was a foreign exchange student from Britain, which was really cool.
How did you?
Yeah, I don't like British people, but if you guys make metal music and alternative rock, you guys are actually really
You're
good at
so
that.
good at
and
that
I do.
somehow.
If you guys didn't do that, I probably wouldn't be here. So thank you for that.
I think it's the lack of sunlight they see.
it's
is
true,
What leads them to.
and dental insurance probably.
Also true. The such dark thoughts come from
Maybe
that.
that's why they sing better.
Their jank teeth leach into their
Yeah.
brain, and they can't possibly think about happy thoughts.
No.
And then they go outside, and they're like, "Well, maybe if I get a peep at the sun, maybe I'll enjoy it." And then they go outside, and it's dreary and it's
Maybe
raining.
I'll enjoy it.
You know, it's ironic we're making fun of them. It has been absolutely shithousing rain all day,
like Britain.
like
kind of.
Britain. But
Yeah.
the problem with Britain is they don't even have hard rain. They just have a constant
drizzle.
stream of. It's like Seattle.
Yeah, it is like Seattle.
It
isn't
rains more inches of rain in like southeastern United States than it ever does in Seattle during the year. More inches of rain here. However, it rains more days there. That sucks. Also, it's funny that we mentioned we don't like British people, considering that is a royal guard right here in the background.
So if you guys trying to mess with us, you got to get through him 1st. My boy Reginald.
Reginald, that's
Good
a
luck
good
with
name.
that.
It's a good British
Reggie
name.
is gonna mess you up, gang. I apologize to be the bearer of bad news.
I was going to say, I think we have a pretty mutual. My co-host Austin here. We have a very, if you've forgotten our names, because I noticed we've probably only said them like
Once. And then I think we cut it after we did because you said your last name like an idiot.
I'll just add a beep so we don't have to introduce ourselves. I'll take that out.
I was actually just thinking.
Hold on,
that.
wait. I'll be quiet. You just do a beep. That'll be the beep. And that'll be the beep. And the only way people would understand that is if they listen to this whole thing.
Which will they? I don't know, but hey,
I think they'll have to.
if we want to live.
If you want us to live, no offense.
Chat, does it sound better when my voice is really close up to the microphone or when it's really far away? You let me know. Probably really close because they're like.
They get a very... Oh, that's going to be a nightmare for somebody. Just a...
You know that other co-host we would have appreciated it. The one that died
Yeah.
in Puerto Rico.
Rest in peace.
I'm not Catholic. We had a conversation about that, but yeah.
That's... Shut up, Pope Francis. That's... I like how it's just turned into... They have died in Puerto Rico. Sorry, I didn't want to burp into the mic.
Like me.
They died in Puerto Rico, and they would have loved ASMR. They do love ASMR a lot.
Also, the Pope once again. The new Pope is American, so British people suck on that.
Suck on that. Oh my gosh, we've been around for... Oh my goodness, you eat your heart out. We've been around for like 250 years.
Yeah.
And we already have like... I'm pretty sure the same amount of popes as Great Britain. And they've been around
I'm not sure if that's true.
for hundreds of years. We'll have that fact checked. And again, that right there will say...
Why don't you just ask him?
Hold on one second. Hey, how many British popes have there been? I know you're Roman Catholic, so go ahead and tell us.
He doesn't need 2 mics. This guy's stupid.
Look at that. Classic British person. Dumb as hell. Doesn't know what they're even talking about. He didn't even answer us.
At least we pay him well.
But I was going to actually tell a great story. It is my closeted British... Not closeted. I'm an open British hater. Sorry. And again, if you're watching British people, keep watching. We need you. I mean, this is life or death. That's
And besides,
not
in the chat, you can talk about how our schools are like shooting ranges.
Uh-huh. Yeah, at least our math class isn't a shooting range.
at least our schools.
But when I was in the 5th grade, if you're on the eastern seaboard... Still recording? Yeah. We're
Like
chill.
we are.
If you're on the eastern seaboard, you in elementary school probably... And I don't know why they do this in elementary school. You go to Washington, D.C. on a field trip.
That was nice. That was a good time.
You go on a charter bus. You got carpeted floor.
yeah. That's pretty
You
cool.
can lounge in that thing. You can bring snacks on the bus.
You can.
And you get to go for like 3 days, 4 days, something like that, to the capital of the United States, and you get to go to museums. You get to go through the Capitol building. Some people did that, and they weren't invited.
Nothing is more American than that, than your Washington, D.C. field trip.
You could go to the gates of the White House because we didn't want to see a kid get blown apart on the lawn of the White House after they tried running through.
Speak for yourself, but yes.
There were some kids in my fifth grade I could have gone.
I remember I was supposed to go on a bunch of museums, but instead me and my group just went to this park and chased around squirrels all day. Because they were like really nonchalant and didn't really care because people would feed them all the time. So we just chased them up trees instead.
They're like the pigeons. They're like rats of the sky.
You mean the bots, the government spies,
the cameras,
the drones?
We're onto you. But I remember that actually. I mentioned museums because that led me to, the inception of my hate for the people across the pond. I can't even say their names. It's like Voldemort. I can't even say their names. That rock. Alcatraz is better than that island.
I heard they're bringing back Alcatraz. I heard Trump say something about. Well, I didn't hear him say something about it. I heard someone say that he said he was going to.
That's gonna be nice and expensive.
It will be very expensive.
But I was gonna say we went to the Smithsonian. And you didn't have enough time to go to like all of them, but I think we went to like the natural science one where they have the Hope Diamond, world's biggest diamond, I think. And they had it's not as big as you think. It's not as cool as you think it is. Diamonds aren't huge. But we went to Air and Space. So you got to see like the Wright brothers.
I do remember that.
It was so sick. But
shout out North Carolina.
And I don't know. Thank you, Pope Francis, for North Carolina.
We've already established that's where he is.
He knows everything about everything.
He does know.
He's dead now. But we went to Air and Space in classic American fashion. There's a McDonald's. I remember that specifically because for some reason elementary school students know McDonald's and that's it. There's a McDonald's in the far side of the Air and Space Museum, and that's the second coolest thing that was there other than the rocks from the moon. But I remember going in there and getting my meal. Don't even remember what I ate, but I think my mom wanted me to go refill her Diet Coke, and stupid idiot fifth grade me got regular Coke. So what do you do when you're at a drink machine when you fill it up with the wrong drink? Go ahead, tell me. Yeah, thank you. You turn it upside down and you pour it out. That's what any normal person does. But then, mind you, I'm in the fifth grade. I look young now. Then I probably looked like a baby. And I was starting to get fat.
People were like, how are you walking on your own?
Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 2 foot tall.
It was like babies when they have like really fat arms that cup around their wrists. Mm-hmm. That's what he looked like.
And I turned it upside down, poured the drink out, and this British guy who was standing next to me didn't know he was British. Should have been able to tell. They give off a nasty just vibe. He says, "You Americans are quite wasteful, aren't you?"
Quite what?
Wasteful.
Oh.
He says the word. He says, I'm not even going to do the British accent.
Did you even throw hands after that?
I should have just bit his ankle. Again, I was short. I should have gnawed through the bone like a fucking piranha.
Oh, yeah.
You Americans are quite wasteful.
You just attacked this whole ethnicity.
Get off your high horse.
Honestly.
Unless you're horsing around with Luke and Austin, which we will be on horses. You're not ready for episode 50 when we go to a horse farm. And I'm still not adding a horse to that. I'm sorry.
You're not. He is.
The man behind the camera. But who says that to a fifth grader?
A child. A literal child at that point.
A man baby says that.
And he like objectified. Not even. Well, is that the word? He like really.
He objectified. You look pretty hot, kid.
It was actually just a creep.
You Americans are quite wasteful. Anyway, how old are you?
I got a duplex.
Your parents. Where are your parents at? I'm starting to like this.
Oh, God. No. But yeah, no, he was, not only did he come after what looked to be a 5-year-old for no reason, he also wanted to attack the entire nation of the United States at the same time, which was kind of insane.
I'm going to puke even thinking about him.
Right?
And that's always stuck with me because I think I went back mortified at that table thinking that oh my gosh, he's got to be well connected if he's here. So he's probably like a British diplomat saying these things to me. No, that's not
Were
true.
you at McDonald's? Is that what you said?
Yes. I was at the
That's funny
Smithsonian
you say
McDonald's.
that. Actually, when I was at the Smithsonian McDonald's, there was a certain person that I'm related to in my group with me. You know the one, right?
Yeah.
And his mother was also a chaperone there, and she, I kid you not, she almost died in the Smithsonian McDonald's by choking on a French fry. Like, I mean, stood up and made a scene, started choking in the Smithsonian
That's
McDonald's.
the thing, though, with
and
choking.
then some random, God bless this Latino man who pulled up and started giving her the Heimlich, and then the fly like flew onto the table. And I was like, holy crap, dude, my aunt almost died by marriage.
How is there nobody around to even help?
Well, I mean, I was, 11 at the time.
Not you
so
specifically. None of the kids are going to help.
No, yeah.
Those are going to make a human
But
ladder.
it was like 5 children, and then my mom was there, and then she was there, and then like maybe 1 or 2 other female chaperones. They didn't know what to do. They were like sitting ducks, just watching fate happen. And if they continued to do that, she probably would have died. I kid you not.
I've heard several stories of people who've started to choke in public. There is a shocking lack of people who are willing to try anything, because at that point
It's pretty crazy.
At that point, it's like life or death. If I'm choking on something, I don't care if you fail. At least you tried.
Well, I mean, do you know how to do the Heimlich maneuver personally?
If I was the only one though, that was stepping up, would you care if I didn't know how
So
to do it?
the answer is no.
No. All I know is that
you're
you
right, though. Like I would want you
connect
to for
your
sure.
hands around your fist, and I just know that you're supposed to go in an upward motion.
That's also true. I do know that as well.
And that's it's not like CPR. Okay, if I was dying,
We were also supposed to learn CPR, and our gym teacher was like, "Yeah, you did it. Check. Anyways, never did that. Continue."
which is also dangerous because you get certifications for that kind of stuff. You get a certificate.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Which I feel like CPR is one of those things where if you learn it once and you really internalize it, if you're in a profession where you need CPR,
Well, they do other courses
because our
to train
doctors and
for it.
scholars who are watching this will be taking our advice.
Yes.
After years of college, they're going to want to come to us.
Just don't forget the Bee Gees. Staying alive. That's how you do.
First, I was
That's how you do
afraid.
CPR.
Sorry.
Goated reference.
But if you're a professional, doctors and nurses watching this, please get your certifications. But if you're just a Joe Schmo, if you're just a boring loser,
But not if you're watching this. Then you're really cool.
you're in our book, you're good.
Not boring.
But if you could probably learn it once, and if you just remember 30, I still remember 30 pushes. I don't know what the word would be. Pumps. 30 hard thrust into their body.
Thrusts is what I said.
30 thrust into their body. And 1 rescue breath. That's all I remember. Honestly, I've heard, unrelated, but there's this doctor on YouTube. He's going to want this shout out. We're not going to want one from him. He's going to want it from us. Dr. Mike. He was like a former doctor who went viral for being, how do I say it, hot. That's pretty much.
You just mean the bald one on that one website. What's his name? Johnny
Oh, my.
Sins.
Yeah, he's my
Your
girlfriend's
chiropractor.
doctor.
Oh.
Yeah, and he was a professor too. That was my phone.
I think he was also a plumber at one point.
He did lay pipe. I'm pretty sure.
That was a good one. Oh, God. That's my left hand. I apologize. I'm not coordinated, guys.
Sorry. That probably sounded great in the mics.
I honestly, I heard like a cutout, but it's fine.
Okay, we're still recording.
Kinda scared me.
See, everything's going fine.
Yeah. We should ramp it up. What are we talking about now, chat? Oh, that's what I look like. Hey, guys.
Hold on one second. He started falling in love with himself.
No,
like
I'm
that
falling
old-
in love with them and the guy behind the camera.
Aw. Let's shout out one of our viewers. Hey, Michael. I know you're watching this.
Michael Obama?
Michael. No. This is our other friend, Michael. He doesn't. He doesn't have
a couple
a last
Michaels.
name. Hey Michael, stop jerking off in your socks. People want you to stop.
Yeah.
And it's getting. They're starting to stand up on their own, man.
Yeah.
And it's really disgusting.
Yeah.
Unrelated.
Your mom hates cleaning those, by the way, when she goes and picks them up in your room.
You have to hand wash them at that point.
Yeah.
And do you want to imagine that?
Yeah.
What else has happened in the last week and a half that has been notable? That's not scary.
Grug.
Rug?
Grug.
What is it?
That rhymes with grug. You know grug.
What am I saying? What am I hearing?
I call it a concentration camp. It rhymes with grug. I know they understand what I'm talking about. I need you to as well.
Why am I?
It's a meme. The trend. The meme.
The trend.
God, you're old, Luke.
What?
I know we're trapped in this basement,
I've
but
hit
like, come on,
status.
we still have Wi-Fi.
That's all we have. That's all we got. We have a ladybug phone and a connection,
phone.
but it doesn't have an
Miraculous.
outgoing services, and no one cares enough to call us, unfortunately. So
Somehow, I don't know.
actually, I think my mom called. I'm starting to think our parents set this up. Unfortunately, also realized even in this inaugural episode, we haven't even mentioned how we met.
I was thinking about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's better from your perspective.
From my perspective, I
For starters, we both went to the same high school, and we met each other sophomore year, I believe, because
definitely met
transferred.
sophomore year.
Yeah.
But the bond swelled and merged together.
Yeah.
Like SpongeBob and Squidward's hearts. Crazy shout out right there. Shout out SpongeBob.
He should
he's
be on
with
the
Pope Francis
podcast.
now. I didn't go to the same high school freshman year of our high school. I went to a different school.
Yeah.
And then after a year, I had to get out of there. So I got my money up.
Not his funny up.
Not my funny up. And I went to the high school that he went to. I transferred in. We were in the same program or whatever. And it was funny. I had the same first period as him for like the first semester.
Our math class, shout out Miss Wells.
Shout out Miss Wells. I wonder what she's doing now. Anyway, probably still teaching math.
Meth.
Probably teaching meth cooking class, which
It's home ec, pretty much.
that's home ec.
Anyways, so we met in our math class
turn your shisha
at
into math.
8:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah. So he was. No one in a first period class wants to be there. I show up at my job at 8:30, and that makes me want, like, hearing that alarm, that iPhone alarm specifically, is like hearing a symphony of nails on chalkboards. So imagine you wake up for school, and you have to learn about. Oh my gosh!
The quadratic formula.
Oh my
parabolas.
gosh! Quadratic. Oh. I want to puke even hearing that.
Y equals mx plus b.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty easy stuff. Looking back.
Not
now.
for me. I'll tell you that much. That's why I was in that class. With you and the stupid people.
Me and the stupid people. Honestly, it wasn't just the stupid people. It was people a grade below us. It was pretty much like mostly.
It was the foundations class, wasn't it? We were in math 1 foundations.
And it was humbling because every other class we were probably ahead. Math, we're in the back seat.
Very bad.
And it's
Very
crazy because
bad.
I was in an advanced math class until 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, have everything fleshed out. At the charter school I went to, they didn't do by-semester accreditation.
You're not telling the story of how we met.
I'm just...
At all.
This is getting there, though. It didn't have...
Very
This is
long.
how I ended up in the math class with him. Our paths would have never crossed. They would have crossed later. Pretty much that's the way they crossed, was later. But the only reason I was in that is because the charter school I was in, don't go to a charter school, guys, if you're listening. The accreditation was by year instead of semester. And I stayed back after my 8th grade year. And when I went to 9th grade, I ended up retaking that math class below it. So then we were in the math class together. And honestly, I was friends with the freshmen who were in the class. And my
When
co-host,
we were sophomores at the time.
while we were sophomores. And there's nothing more lame than being friends with freshmen.
Very true.
As some would say.
Bro was chasing after the freshman, you could say.
Still do. I'm joking. But even in like our sophomore year, you know, people would, looking back, who cares? These people are a year younger than us.
This is a very long story.
It's just called lore.
No, it's not.
It's called lore.
No, it's not.
Anyway, he looked like he wanted to die. My co-host Austin here looked like he wanted to die every single day when I came into class, earbuds in, sitting there. He would get his work, do his work, turn it in, and then I don't even know what else you did in that class.
I got on my phone.
He got on his phone.
Doing nothing, just scrolled.
To be fair, I would get my work done maybe the last minute of class because I was having the most enthralling conversations with these freshmen. I still follow most of them on Instagram, and their life paths have just gone. Well, some of them are better
One of them's
than
in
others.
jail. The other's pregnant. The other one is.
And they're all guys,
getting
so
the
that's
other one
concerning.
pregnant. Yeah.
They were all guys. I don't know how they got pregnant.
If you're pregnant, that's not a bad thing. Babies are a blessing.
However, logistically, I don't know how these guys got pregnant, but they're all pregnant.
That's fine. I mean,
No, actually, I'm pretty sure all of them are in college, if I'm not mistaken.
I wonder what the percentage of U.S. citizens in college are. I feel like it's gone up over the years, to be honest.
For sure.
But anyways, that's how we met, was by him thinking that I was a school shooter, just doing math really slowly.
And it's so funny to me because full semester, second semester, it's because we had the program we were in, we had those, what they called an AB schedule. So the days where he was in the B class, I was in the A class, which doesn't mean I'm better. It just means I was in the A class. Interpret that how you will. And I like how you can hear everything I'm saying. So even when I do this,
I'm the one wearing the headphones. I have no clue.
You have the
what just
headphones
said.
on, which are mine.
That's very true.
But we had the non-coordinating classes all of sophomore year, which was cut short by COVID. So I guess not all of sophomore year.
Shout out COVID. What a time.
Shout out COVID. It's with Pope Francis now. But we had those, you know, we had different schedules. So I would see you in first period all of that first semester, and then I wouldn't see you the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Then. So I was just like, that's the guy who's in my math class, who is the only one who isn't talking.
Yeah.
Like in the
you were
class.
scared to talk to me,
I
honestly.
was intimidated by your frame.
You probably should
Your
have been.
6'8" frame.
For those of you who can't tell, I am 6'8".
He's 6'8", 245 of pure. He's like a chiseled Adonis over here. But and if he's 6'8", that makes me.
You're probably 5.
For being realistic, I'm 5'6". With shoes on,
our
I'm 5'7".
podcast. We're not.
Sorry, I'm 6'3".
If you really think about it, Luke is a high value man, being over 5'6" and making four figures per quarter.
I'm trying to think.
That makes you in the top 1% of men.
I was gonna say 4 figures per quarter. I guess I do make that. However, that could be as small and as big as you want it to be.
No.
Per quarter? That's like every fourth of the year
Luke,
I'm making only
you're
4
a
figures.
high value man because you are over 5'6".
That means the maximum
make
amount
at
I can make in
least
a
4
quarter is
quarters per
$9,999.
I keep saying quarters per quarter. You make at least 4 figures per quarter.
Country. But I make.
And you've got a big butt.
What else could you need?
What else do you need?
Education? No. Who wants to be told what? A job?
No.
Buying stuff's overrated. Even though I bought everything.
I'd rather be an entrepreneur and do my own podcast instead.
Do podcasters count as entrepreneurs? I think they count as some sort of leech on society. I think that
you might have a point.
imagine you work on an oil rig and you open up TikTok and the first clip you see is one of us talking about
How stupid oil
papal
rigs
elections
are.
or British people.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about papal elections. But no, I think. Sorry.
No,
I was thrown off by what you're looking at.
I'm looking at this guy.
But yeah, I was thrown off by his 6'8" jacked frame and his. Oh, that's so cute.
My fault.
But I was thrown off by his frame and his aura, and I didn't want to walk up to him. And to be fair,
We're still talking about this?
I'm just getting into like what school was like that year. Because it was weird. I came from a different school. I didn't know effectively anybody, if I'm being honest.
You knew 2 people.
I knew 2 people, and that's because they went to my middle school.
Well, technically 3, right? Counting the one in the movie.
Yes. I knew somebody who went to elementary school with me.
Yes.
But regardless, I weaved my way to a public high school. Honestly, didn't imagine I'd get there. Didn't imagine I'd be in the program I was in. Do I regret it?
Absolutely. Are we? Is that even a question? The
program
do
was
squat.
It didn't do much to help. However, I'm gonna do the enlightened thing and say, if I went back in time, I wouldn't change a thing because of the amazing people that I met.
Like me.
Like him and my girlfriend of almost 40 years.
That's very true as well. That's very true. I feel the same way about my college experience.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like I've wasted money because I don't really know what I'm doing at all. Guys, I major in communications.
Which is
let that sink in for a second.
And if you're an impressionable young person hearing this right now, that is the most important degree you can get. So tell your family you're going to do that with a minor in some sort of art. Probably. Think sculpting.
Ice sculpting in particular.
Ice sculpting and then move to the Mojave Desert.
Absolutely.
And make that your dream.
Yeah. No, but like what you were saying earlier, I have a communications degree. Well, I'm going to get one. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do something with it. This is in my communications degree. This is what makes me do that.
This is his final project right here.
I might have to use this for a final project next year. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, awesome. Boom. Mic drop.
Make your professor watch every single episode.
I will.
Or else they can't grade you.
Oh, I will.
Efficiently.
And if my professor doesn't subscribe, then you must remember, then I will die. Me and my co-host alike.
Yes, please, guys. Yeah. We're desperate.
I would much rather take an A than be freed from this prison, but hey, is what it is.
It's funny. I can't say anything about him going for a communications degree because I am going for political science.
That's my minor.
Which
minor?
I hardly know her.
I hardly know her.
Dude, we're rolling right now. Again, those comedy darts. Bullseye after bullseye right
funny.
Now.
They're not funny.
Bullseye after bullseye. You're crazy.
We're not funny.
But don't ever say that again. But I can't mock you, no. Because I found out 66% of people who get a political science degree end up as school teacher, law enforcement. And I don't think I have it in me to shoot somebody.
Well, that's never the goal of law enforcement.
Not yours.
If you're doing it right.
Not your goal. Okay. People say you should always de-escalate. What am I, a pussy? First thing I do.
Mama ain't raised no bitch. That's for
First
sure.
thing I do when I pull somebody over for a broken taillight is instantly have my gun right here.
Shoot the glass out. Step out of the car.
Smash the window in. Get out of the car!
Jesus.
I'm not gonna ask again.
Okay.
Dude, I'm gonna have to turn that all the way down in post. Dude, we sound like such professionals saying that. I just feel so cool saying that.
Yeah.
Even if this has one viewer.
Yeah, no, for sure. Honestly, if I was pulled over and I was approached like that from someone who looked like you, I would try to seduce you and get out of the parking ticket because that would be really erotic to me.
Are you serious, dude?
Oh, I'm serious. Absolutely.
That would so work on me.
Are you serious?
Are you kidding me, dude?
I was fantasizing that you would do that, bro.
Don't get me salivating.
Gosh.
Come on.
Dang, man.
I might have to go for law enforcement now just so I can pull you over. That just made me think of all the times I've been pulled over in my life, which...
You've been pulled over before?
I've never gotten a ticket. No. I've never gotten a ticket.
You see, I've actually never been pulled over. I might be in the minority on that one, but I guess I'm just a good driver? I don't know.
I'm trying to think of...
I got pulled over in a golf cart once at the beach.
That's a good story. The 2 times I've gotten pulled over, one time I had a vehicle that broke down, so I was driving one of my dad's other cars, and it had expired as hell tags on it.
What a loser.
Only by
driving an expired
4 or
vehicle.
5 days, but they like, you know what? I don't like that they don't use their lights until they're right on your ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of scares me.
Yeah, I feel you. It
they're
kind
like-
of builds suspense.
When
in a
they're
way.
like right behind you and then they flip on the lights,
Mm-hmm.
first you're thinking, okay, somebody's gonna follow me home and try and touch me. But then
hopefully,
you get the second fear, which is, oh my god, am I getting a ticket? I want to die.
yeah.
No, he just pulled me over. He was actually super nice. The first one did. He just pulled me over, came to my passenger window. It was on the road where my house is, which is, no, I'm joking. Knocked on the window, was just like, hey, license, registration, hand it over, whatever. And he just tells me my tags are expired. And I was like, oh, I haven't been driving this long, so I'm sorry. Oh, we're chill. I was like, I haven't been driving this long. I'm sorry. And he was like, it's okay.
And then you offered to give him top
And then
to avoid the ticket.
Went to police cruiser in it. No, that was fine. Second time, I just realized you haven't heard the story. When we went to your apartment, like over spring break.
You got pulled over then?
On the way back home, at 1:45 in the morning, I was going back to Kylie's house with everybody in the car because I was the one driving. I was the carpool. I drew the short end of the stick. I was the one doing all the...
Somehow you always manage to draw the short end of the stick. Funny how that works.
High value mail. I mean, that's just what we do. I mean, come on. I make 4 quarters a quarter. Come on. But no,
Four figures, buddy.
it was like right before you turn on into her neighborhood. There was like there was a license check. They were doing one like real late at night.
I hate those.
But it was up the road. We hadn't gotten to it yet. So this is why I counted as being pulled over. It was way up the road, and I pulled into her neighborhood, and like right before her house, a car comes flying through her neighborhood. First of all, that's illegal. Not a high speed there. It pulls me over, and I'm like, please don't let me get a ticket. I'm paying for a car. I can't afford a ticket. On top of like the insurance that'll go up.
Can't have it.
But evidently he thought that I was trying to avoid the license check by going through the neighborhood because that's the only way around.
Yeah.
Is through that neighborhood right there.
It's a bad mix.
So but the problem was he was like standing at the rear view and like leaning over like I was a threat to him. I'm 5'6".
You're a high value man.
I'm a high
would
value
be threatened too.
He sensed me and he was like, I know how to approach this car carefully.
Sense your value.
Alpha might pounce. Alpha might pounce. So I have to be a little sly. No, but he comes up to the back window and is like leaning around, and I have to like reach back to hand him my license and registration. The 2 times somebody's come up to my window, they've done it the wrong side, and they've done it way back because he thought I'm like some sort of delinquent. But no,
Well, I mean, look at you.
This is the face of a criminal.
A very young criminal. Started early.
I could get away with so many crimes. Yeah. I can't say
And be
that.
tried as a minor.
Don't check my documents. I'm a kid, I promise.
It's just a piece of paper written in green crayon that says I am 12.
I am 12. Isn't that from
It's from something. I don't remember.
it's some movie about Major League Baseball players, I think.
like that.
Something like that. But no, it's the only 2 times I've ever been pulled over, and neither time I got a ticket. Thank God.
Ooh.
Because oh my gosh, that would... I'm going to get pulled over on the way home talking about this right now. Just kidding. We're not leaving here until we get 2 subscribers. We've said that a lot.
We can't drive. We don't have a way out.
They took our car and crushed it into a cube like Wall-E.
Good movie.
Wall-E.
Wally.
Do you say Wall-E or Wall-E?
I mean, I say it fast.
Wall-E.
Wally.
Wall-E. But if you had to do it phonetically.
Well, I mean, if you're going to do it phonetically and you're going to think about it on purpose, it'd have to be Wall-E, right, chat?
Wall-E.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. As a kid, that movie, every message of that, whoosh, right
over your
my
head. Oh, for sure.
Fat people
But
in
it was
floating
pretty.
chairs.
It was a pretty movie, though. It looked really good.
He's in love with Eve.
Aw, robot baby.
But then you get older and you see the world crumbling around us, and you're like...
Yeah. I have a conversation about that with my girlfriend a lot of times because she says that when she was younger, she would talk to other kids about Wall-E and be like, all the other kids would say that it was garbo, like a bad movie, like they hated it. And I was like, they didn't hate the movie, they just didn't understand it.
They didn't understand
like
the
they weren't
themes.
conscious.
That's one of those where I think this happens
they
often.
weren't smart enough. Pretty much.
I think it's one of those things where they'll get older, they'll have kids, then they'll rewatch it, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, That's such a good movie.
What a message.
With a very important message.
What a message.
About preservation and whatnot. Conservation, whatever.
Right. Even though global warming is fake. What kind of podcast are we trying to be? We're still finding our identity.
We've spread
here.
not one but two conspiracies.
We can
Michelle
keep going.
Obama's a man.
Oh, I have a big conspiracy to talk about. We might have to. You know what it is, but we
Is
might.
this going to be episode 2? I think I know what it is.
We might have to save it for episode 2. I'm not going to lie. It revolves around a certain female and her accomplishments that she did not actually accomplish.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil too much, but she was a famous female. She's a fucking fraud.
She's a liar, is what she is. She's a liar. And anyone who advocates for her can also admit they're lying.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're related to her, if you're some sort of cousin.
It's bullcrap.
Okay? Son of a cousin. If that was your aunt, your great aunt, just come clean. Tell us what she was like. Okay? Tell her when she got in a room by herself, she was like, all right, guys.
Nothing.
That's hard to do in public.
And I mean nothing aggravates me more than people talking about that woman. I kid you not. I'm very passionate about this topic, and I will die on this hill.
I remember reading a book about it in the 6th grade.
Ooh, and I wanted to throw it in the fire.
That's for next episode.
My God.
We can't discuss it now.
Yeah, we need to move on before I start.
Before he blows
My
up in
head catches
flames.
on fire. Please. Gosh. Anyways.
I'm getting furious thinking about it. But, dude, that scared me, actually. Wow. So is he okay? Where's he going? That was beautiful.
I thought they were looking at my butt for a second.
Honestly,
y'all laughing.
I might just cut out the middle parts between that and I'll cut out this too. I'll just have it just cut to you kissing
That could be the intro.
That just you kissing the camera. Honestly, I'm trying to figure out a way. I just realized I have a full logo I could just put on there
do have a logo.
and fade into us talking.
Oh, that'd be sick, actually. Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
We need to
Horsing around.
Oh my gosh. We need to find a way to get that like printed laminated or something and just stick it in the background.
That would be awesome.
What?
Yeah, what are we doing?
There's
a printer downstairs.
I spent all of this time I have a laminator at home, so I can just do this all at home. Just get it laminated out.
Because you're doing everything for this project.
Or we could go to local celebrity, won't say his name, won't say anything about him, but print shop owner. You know what I'm thinking of.
I'm not sure if I do.
Okay, well, I'll have to tell him once we're off the podcast, and then he'll know. We can get just a full sign made. Maybe I'll frame it. Hell, what's the budget for this?
If you should make me one too, though. I want one as well.
You want it framed?
Mm-hmm.
I'll frame it for you.
Yeah.
Look at us.
I'll put it in my room.
Look at us. I feel like
cute.
that clip of forgetting his name, Ant-Man. That's not even his most famous role.
Paul Rudd?
Oh my god.
I thought you were talking about our friend named Anthony for a second. I had no clue what you were talking about.
Paul Rudd.
Yes, Paul Rudd.
Dude, it's like that clip of him. That's how I feel about us right now, where
Jonathan?
He's got the hot ones. That does not look like you're unscrewing the lid of a bottle. When he's unscrewing, that still doesn't look like it. I need to do something better.
Oh, Luke, you're supposed
This
to
is
save
the
that
hot
for
sauce.
me. You're supposed to save that for me, buddy.
Unscrewing it. I'm so sorry. When you're unscrewing the hot sauce lid, that's a clip of him where he's doing it, and he's like, "Look at us, look at us."
Right.
To Sean Evans, hot ones.
Sponsor us, Hot Ones.
I couldn't do it. I
love wings, bruh.
I'm fine with wings, but I can't do.
I love wings. I could do it.
You know that part when he does the explain that Graham, where he pulls up like a 10-year-old Instagram post, and then he's like, why did you post this then? If I got on The Last Dab, I would be explaining that Graham from a fucking hospital room. I would be in a morgue. I would be dead. There's no way. I'm so bad with spices. I'd probably get to the third wing and tap out or something. Which is crazy because if Shaq can do it, future guest, if Shaq can do it, then...
Hall of Famer and Papa John's franchisee, Shaquille O'Neal.
Dude, I think, unfortunately, if Shaq was on this podcast, we would need a little...
We would need a bigger basement.
We would need They would have to do renovations.
Oh, yeah.
To get him in frame.
Oh, yeah.
Either that or we'd sit in his lap like he's Santa Claus and have our arms around him like this.
He has a Santa Claus skin in Fortnite. Luke wouldn't know because he never plays Fortnite with me.
So sorry.
Loser.
I've missed a lot of Fortnite.
You're such a loser.
I
Honestly.
don't know how many skins. The last thing I saw was that Sabrina Carpenter was in the game
Oh yeah, she is.
with her music
Oh yeah.
and her music themed emotes.
Sabrina Carpenter, you're also welcome on this podcast.
You are welcome on this podcast.
Almost everyone is welcome on this podcast, to be honest.
Honestly, we'll probably have to start
Except that one person that wanted to be in the podcast, but
that
she
we
died.
can't say her name. That died on her trip to Puerto Rico.
She did die.
Die on her trip, or did she die there?
She died, and then her soul ascended to Puerto Rico.
That's where heaven is a resort in Puerto Rico.
That's what we said, anyways. And what we say goes. It's our podcast.
We got to keep that consistent. When
Yeah, we
she
do.
passed on her way to Puerto Rico.
What if we actually bring her on? Do you even have more mics?
I can buy more. I can fit up.
It's not looking good, chat. Sorry.
She can get on. I'll just have to order. I mean,
we could share, I guess.
I can get her another mic.
We can't. She's already dead, to be honest with you.
Yeah, unless we somehow
This
get
makes
her.
no sense to people who don't know who she is.
They'll figure it out because she'll be on a
Okay.
future episode, and they'll be like,
Okay.
"Oh, there she is."
This will just be peak foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be up to 4 people. Maybe we'll. I'll have to give you an idea off the record. This is on the record. Off the record for what she'll do when she shows up, but it'll be so funny. You'll like it.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, tell me if I'm wrong here, we had a pretty good first episode. And I think that our time is winding down for this episode.
Okay. Next
And
episode,
you sound so sad right there.
I know, I am really sad. Well, next episode, we will very much address some more controversial topics that I'm going to get very passionate about, probably stand up and yell about. So tune in for that. Pretty please.
Yeah, please, dude. It's getting really
We
dark.
need
in this
those 2
basement.
subscribers.
There's black mold in here.
Just 2, please.
And I don't think Austin's going to last much longer here, unfortunately. This is us begging.
That also looks kind of weird. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
How close can I get?
Sorry. You didn't see what I did there.
I about pulled
It's going to just rip out all of our audio equipment.
Maybe I shouldn't do that.
But thank you for tuning in. Whoever ended up doing that.
Probably like one person. Thank you, one person.
Whoever
You made
you
it
are,
worth it.
our hearts go out to you.
For sure. Do that again. That's kind of hard. Hard picture.
Our hearts go out to you. So if you tuned in for our first episode, please come back. Please come back. This is not an ask. We're telling you. You have to come back.
And if you donate, I'll show you Luke's butt from a photocopier picture.
He will show you my butt.
And you'll not regret it.
Many people have said that.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for tuning in. This has been the inaugural episode of Horse Around with Luke and Austin.
Yippee-ki-yay.
And we'll be back.